welcome to Millie and Milo Talks today, week one, episode one. Today we're going to be talking about one of the uh, biggest impacts in the city of Minneapolis right now, what's going on in Minnesota, ICE in our community. And today we're really going to talk about Renee Good, the recent shooting that's happened, the government's response, what's changed in our community so far, and what to do when ICE shows up. And I'm going to hand it over to my guy, Milo.
All right. So, we're going to first talk about Julio Cesar, who was in the most recent shooting with ICE last Wednesday. It started out with federal agents doing a targeted stop on his vehicle. He is a 24-year-old Venezuelan. He is undocumented during the stop. He allegedly fled his vehicle and ran on foot. An ICE agent later caught up to him and led to a struggle on the ground. And then, according to the Department of Homeland Security, two other men apparently ambushed him with a shovel and a broom handle. It's still kind of unclear what happened. There hasn't been any recordings of this exact incident, and with it, there has been a lot of people saying that it was Julio who attacked, when it's really confusing the way many points are talking about it, with the two other people apparently came in and attacked him, but then also people are saying Julio also joined in and was attacking, which is still kind of up in the air, but all three were arrested. But during the struggle, Julio was shot in the leg. The agent said after the two other men joined and were attacking him, he fired a warning shot and it landed in Julio's leg. Thankfully, it was a non-lethal shot, and he was taken to the hospital right after that. The two other men were detained, and that's kind of where we're at in the situation. But it was clear that this amount of force was not necessary for this, which is really scary that just another person got shot. And it was right after Renee Good's shooting, which happened 1 week earlier exactly, which was horrible timing. And now we're going to talk more about Renee Good. Mel will take over that one.
So one of our next topics is going into Renee Good and talking about the shooting that has happened 2 weeks ago, if I'm correct. Renee Good was a mother. She was somebody's parent. She was probably a sister, a coworker, and she got shot. Due to ICE agent not being able to control his temper and having emotional intelligence. That was one of the biggest things. Is in the video it shows that the other side is gonna say she ran the agent over, which it didn't happen.
The video clearly shows she was trying to get out of the spot that ICE was in, and she was being forcibly held.
And later on, she got shot. Rest in peace to her. And I think one of the biggest thing is the government response, which I wish we could pull it up, but I'm not gonna really read too much into what our president said. But he said, what he said was he wasn't really agreeing with us, we the people. He was really agreeing with ICE, with the ICE agent, which is kind of wrong. I'm sure everybody has read the tweet. I really won't summarize it, but basically him saying that he went over the clip and he's seen that Renee ran her over. That's what he was trying to say, which that's not what happened. Yeah. And it's really messed up because, they're protecting him. The government is not trying to give too much information. There are a lot of, like, if I'm correct, people have to dox him. They have to find out who he is. They have to look up who he is. They know where he's lived. They have his whole location and everything, and which that's even the messed up part. And us as the people, we have to kind of get together to force to get justice out of that person, and the government can't do their job by getting justice. And I believe if you could do it for George Floyd, when you could get justice for that man George Floyd, you could do the same thing for Renee Good. Should get justice, and which is messed up too. And I'm not saying, yeah, George Floyd didn't deserve justice. He deserves justice 100%, but it should be the same way too. Like it should be equal because let this have had happen to anybody. It could have happened to anybody in the world. Probably down in Texas or Cali. You never know in another state. What could have happened then? You know what I mean? So I think one of the biggest things is just how the government's handling it, which is horrible. There's no accountability to the action. Not even one apology to the people that had to see what happened. The neighbors too had to see that. And God forbid, I hope kids that I have to see what happened to Renee Good in the neighborhood, which is kind of very messed up.
Yeah, and during this stop, it was after she got shot, which she was shot twice in the face for very little reason. She was being denied medical attention from doctors that were in the area, and they said they had their own people coming, and it was completely ridiculous that they just had people waiting on the sidelines for probably wouldn't have helped. She was shot in the head twice, which was really messed up. But also what Mel was talking about with this guy, people have found exactly who he is, where he lives, and our government's response in St. Paul and Minneapolis has been mainly about siding with the Minnesotan people and staying with and like getting ICE out of here because it's not a good point to have them here where they're just invading and causing chaos. But and I mean, I've always really liked the way we've been responding, but um, the person that did shoot Renee Good currently does have law enforcement like protecting him, which is really messed up because he's not yet to be. I mean, he isn't being charged.
Bro should be in court at least.
Yeah,
at least should be in court,
and he's just instead getting protection.
And at least should be in holding custody right now and be in prison at minimum. That's a fact. Which we're gonna go into our next topic is
just more into our government's response with both sides and why it's kind of happening. Back in.
So on our next topic is what has changed in our community so far. We have noticed that back when ICE wasn't here, everybody was really minding their own business. It was a normal, peaceful community until ICE came up. ICE came, which is crazy because now everybody's getting together, protest. And a lot of businesses are like, helping out the protesters. They're giving out food, warm food, and which is really a good thing. And yeah, and we see that neighbors, kids are also sticking up for also schools, like big schools are also like getting together, having protests, and it's a good thing that is happening because it shows that we care and we don't want to just sit back. There's a word my teacher used to use, which I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's called you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Whoa.
Existentialism. You know what I'm talking about?
Existentialism?
Yeah, no. It's like assertivism is no, I forgot.
Are you talking about the way our communities
getting
together?
You know the word
I mean, I think I know what you're going for. Yeah. It's really good to see because I mean these events are tragic, but we can always take some hope in the way of our community because we've responded really strongly in these cases. It's been great to see how the walkouts from all the schools, and I know most of these walkouts have been student led. I've been in a ton of group chats with people who are scheduling these, and it's just great to see that it's not just the schools, but it is the students working really hard to make sure we can have these protests happen in a peaceful way.
And so crazy about it too, like they don't have to do this, but they're doing it because they see what's going on.
They see the injustice.
They could go home. Everybody right now could go home and just let ICE do what they want, but they're deciding not to, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing because a lot of people nowadays would be like, oh hey, oh yeah, I'm gonna just let why does it matter? You know what I mean? They see it's wrong what they're doing. So yeah, it's a very good thing, and that leads into our next topic: what to do when ICE shows up at your door. I'm gonna hand it to my boy Milo here to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, the main important thing when we're dealing with ICE is staying calm, because these are people that are just trying to fuck up your life and your family. As a white man, I'm more in the safe majority, which um, is it's a horrible thing that's like I get that privilege. Um, but the main thing we need to, when we are interacting with ICE, it's important just first to have a plan. Make sure you know your like your emergency contacts. You know their numbers. You have something set up for if you're not showing up or something happens, that your child is safe and provided for. Making sure you're carrying your identification. They're now requiring you to have your passport or your passport card on you, which is ridiculous because not everyone has a passport for one thing, and they're like $600 to get, which is ridiculous. Even the cards are like $100. Um, but it is good if you do have it to carry it with you, and that's just good to have. Solid plan is important, so then if something does happen, you know what's going to happen, and you know the people who are going to know about it from about you. And but if they're showing up to your door, which they have been doing, they're doing door to door for these people, and it's not exactly like, oh, just randomly doing doors, but they have been doing that a lot. If they do come to your door, make sure you don't open the door. Talk through the door. Make ask to see their warrant if they have one. Don't open the door if they're like, oh, here, we'll hand it to you. Make sure they slide it under the door. Um, and read it carefully. Most of the warrants that they are showing are not signed by a judge, which they need to have a judicial warrant signed by a judge. And most of them have been signed by ICE officers, which are not legal, and they can't actually get into your house with that. But it's important that you read it carefully. There's examples online of real warrants that you can look at and the fake ones they've been handing out. So make sure you read them carefully. And when they're knocking at your door, make sure you yell them through the door. But also, I let the people know on your plan that ICE is like with you. Make sure your kids know. Also, make sure your kids know not to open the door when they're like knocking. Make sure they know who it is
For
first.
sure, for sure. Cause I ain't gonna lie, in my household too. Like when I was a kid, don't open the door for nobody. You have the adults open it, and if, and some people might leave their kids home alone, and because during the weekends and so, if the ice do come through, what I'm saying, just have them go in the bathroom, hide in there, and don't even say a word, don't say a peep. So that's one of the biggest things too.
Yeah, they can't do anything if you're just like not responding to. They can't just knock down the door unless they have an actual warrant, which is very rare. Um, yeah, but that our last topic for today.
Yeah. I think that's the last. Yeah, that is the last topic. We did get our interviews done. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
well, you'll hear that in a minute
Yeah.
of our interviews. We have with one of our teachers,
Well,
James. He'll be talking about
it's
that.
a little guest. It's a little guest interview. You know what I'm saying?
And
They gonna know who it is. We ain't gonna get too much. That was a little
yeah,
sneak peek.
we're
But
doing
yeah,
some just mainly we're figuring out what's happening with our school, and there'll be some student interviews too. But yeah, that's it
no problem.
for our live podcast. We're out for today, and then we'll be back with the interviews.
Yes, sir. Hello, everybody. We are here with Millie and Milo Talks today, and I have one of our first guest interviews today. He is in one of like top 3 teachers, I'll say, in Exploration right now.
Appreciate that.
Hottest teacher in the game right now. Go ahead and explain yourself. Explain who you are, man.
Thanks for having me. My name is James. I am a social studies teacher here at Exploration High School.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we're just gonna get right into it, James. With all that's going on with ICE right now, how are you feeling about it, and how is it affecting your daily life?
Man, it's stressful. It's very stressful. And that's coming from a white dude. So, you know, um, yeah, no, it's affecting me. I feel like, I teach all day and then I go home and try to work out or play music or do something for myself. But then I'm also checking Instagram and seeing all the crazy videos of everything ICE is doing and reading articles. And, just gets the anxiety level up, and that can affect sleep. So, it's just stressful. It makes me tired. And then I worry about my students too. So it's tough right now.
And one thing about it is, because I remember having you in class last year, would you say it's a little bit like history repeating itself? A lot of people around social media are saying it's kind of like German time, and you taught social studies for how long again, if I'm correct?
This is my second year at Exploration, but taught a little bit before that at different places too.
Yeah. So would you say with all the teaching that's happened with, with corrupted leaders in office and with ICE, would you say is it history repeating itself again? How would you explain it in that type of a sense?
I mean, it's definitely similar to what we've seen from other countries that have gone to a fascist government. We've seen stuff that our government has done. I was teaching this the other day. Like, in the past, our government has done things at times that were unconstitutional, like the Palmer raids in 1919. Look it up if you don't know. But nothing at this level, nothing at this massive scale. Well, maybe the Japanese internment in World War II. We've done messed up stuff before, but this is a huge level of military occupation of a U.S. city, which we've never seen anything quite like that. Where we have seen it is, like you said, places like Germany before World War II, when the Nazis were coming to power, places today that are turning to more authoritarian rule or fascist rule. You do see this. Some of the stuff that they try to do first is try to call some people un-American, or try to say some people are not real parts of that country, and then they try to villainize those people, and then they start turning the police against the citizens of the country, and show that if you don't follow the rules, if you don't do exactly what someone in authority tells you, then you have no excuse. You could be shot, you could be hurt, you could be killed. So it's basically just a way to try to cause fear, to show that you have to follow whatever the government says, no matter what. So it's scary. It is.
It's very scary in today's society. We never thought, like, in 2026, this is the way how we start our year off. You know what I mean?
No.
Another question to ask is, how have you and your family, friends around you, have been affected by this? You don't have to, explain somebody, but have you, family, cousins, friends, say coworkers or so, how have you guys been affected by it? You know what I mean?
So I mean, I'm pretty lucky. I mean, I'm very lucky because like I said, white dude, middle class. I live in South Minneapolis, so I grew up in South Minneapolis. So all the stuff that's happening in South Minneapolis is just right in my neighborhood, right where I grew up, right where a lot of my friends grew up, family. So in that sense, we're all affected. Like, just, you never know if you're going to walk down the street and see ICE, or, I've been to protests. So I'm like, oh, are they going to try to mess with us at protests? Some of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, the main people I'm worried about are like my students and the families of my students, because I know that some of the students at our school have been affected very, very close to home by this, and have had people, very much affected by this. So for me, it's mainly just worrying about my students and our families.
And it's like you grew up in South Minneapolis. You've had these friends. You've been around these guys your whole life. You went to high school with them. You grew up with them. You went to work with them. And just to see these agents are coming in to our city, your neighborhood, just it must be tough, because you grew up with these guys, just to see they've been in America for a long time. Their family grew up here. They built a culture. You know what I mean? And it must suck that that's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like nobody should ever have to go through that. You know what I mean? Nobody.
No.
Everybody has a right, in the amendment. Last question.
I'll just add too, the stuff you hear about ICE, it's like they're not even trained. They're not even, like, at least regular police officers, whatever problems you have with regular police officers, they at least have to qualify and, be trained and go through real training. these ICE people you're hearing about, like, they're just people who just want to get a gun and like go mess with people.
Yes.
Like, they're not trained, they're not really qualified, they don't have a strong education as far as I can tell. So like seeing people like that come to my city and my neighborhood and mess with my neighbors, my friends, my people, like that just is like, I just want to, makes me so mad, man.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last question. What's a message you have for everybody that's mainly worried, scared, especially for your students, you know, in your neighborhood too? What's the message that you give out to everybody?
I think if there is any positive side, which there's not really, but like at least now we know what we're up against. You know, we've always said like, oh, you don't know what Trump's going to do. It could be crazy, but we don't really know. Now we know. Like, he's willing to send armed people to a city to basically just cause havoc in that city. So we know what we're up against. And in our country and other countries, people have seen stuff like this. So we can learn from history. We can see how people have fought back in other places and at other times and use that to try to fight back against this. And I've already seen that, like, our cities come together in a way I've never really seen before. People are donating money, people are protesting, people are recording ICE, people are delivering groceries. Like,
People are coming together.
Yeah, people are coming together. So we got to keep that up.
We're the nicest in the north. You know what I'm saying? We're nicest in the north. So
we got to keep that up.
You mess with our family, like Curran said. You know, you mess with our family, mess with our neighbors.
Yep.
You mess with everybody.
Exactly.
So yeah, one of the biggest things. Well, James, I want to thank you. You know, I know you got a class to catch up with. It was good talking to you, James. We hope to have you on the podcast more.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Hello, everybody. Today we're having another interview, guest speaker today, and Millie and Milo talks today. And this is really probably top favorite students, if I'm guessing. Yeah. Introduce yourself, Miss Guess, you know.
I don't know about that, but my name is Curran. I am a 12th grader here at Exploration High School.
That's very good. All right, we're just gonna get right into it with all that's going on with the ICE situation. You are part of the student council. It's very important to know how you're feeling right now from off your take. One of the first questions is, how are you feeling with what's going on with the ICE situation, especially as a student council? You know, your concern is really about the students. You know, for anybody that doesn't know, we as Exploration is not like a president. It's very like a if I'm correct, like a student group. If I'm correct.
Yeah, we got me and Takaya are technically the student leads in student council, but it's really just like a combined effort. Everybody pitches in where it's needed, and yeah.
Yes, sir. I love that. So, how are you really feeling about what's all going on with the ICE situation?
I mean, it's awful. I think like there aren't words strong enough to express how me and I know the majority of the community are feeling. The impact is immense in school and out of school. I know me and lots of other students and teachers probably as well are having trouble focusing in class, glancing out the window because they're so nervous. I mean, it's out of hand, it's out of control. It's truly just awful what is happening to people of color around the cities, undocumented or documented, and it's not okay. I'm not sure how it's going to stop, but it needs to stop. And my focus right now is just helping in the ways that I can, the students around me, my community, my neighborhood. And I think everyone should really focus on supporting each other so we can get through it.
Yes. And I love that. And I know that just like we talked about over our last guest speaker, James, is that you build relationships with these U.S. citizens that were from another country coming here, and now it's all being taken away from a guy in office, Donald Trump, which is very corrupted of him, which is really messed up. And can you tell me a little bit more how you feel? How is it really affecting you, your family? How's it really affecting like people around you and you especially too, and mental health? Because it's very serious.
I would say, I mean, I am a white person. My whole family is white, and so we're very privileged in the fact that we are not at risk. But it is still such a big impact. I mean, I see it in my neighborhood. I live east side St. Paul, and you can just tell the energy is tense. Multiple Hispanic restaurants have closed right by my house. People are out patrolling 24/7. I mean, maybe not 24/7, but all throughout the day, people are out patrolling, supporting uh, a Hmong supermarket by my house and a Mexican grocery store. I mean, like, it is cool to see how strong the community is and how when we need to, we can like really get together and do what needs to be done. But it's just, I think everyone's mental health is struggling. Everybody is in panic mode, always in like survival, like fight or flight. Um, and so I mean, I can't even imagine how it would feel to be a person of color in this time period because I am white, but I just have so much empathy and want to be there to support however it's possible because I do have that privilege.
And that reminds me, because I think you guys had a thing yesterday. What to do if you? I forgot the name. I don't want to say the name right, but you guys did a thing in class. What to do if you see ICE? You guys are protesting. Explain a little bit that more to educate the people. You know, for the outside viewers and the inside viewers at Expiration. Educate us a little bit about that. You know what I mean? Especially you as a student council, it's very important that you know that you were that you was there, and just explain a little bit more of that.
Yeah, so yesterday we had a bystander like training, and it was based out of another state, but it was all like very applicable to Minneapolis, Minnesota as a whole. We just learned about general information like basic rights. You have the right to remain silent. They cannot enter private places without a warrant, whether that be your home, a school, a business. They have not been following these rights. That's the scary part, is that we have these rights and you can say your rights, but they have not been following it. They're doing unlawful searches. Everything they're doing is completely corrupt and unlawful. And so as a bystander, it's just important to remind people what rights they have, like even just yelling out, like not even telling them what to do, but just reminding, because when you're in that moment, it's hard to remember because they make you feel like you don't have rights. So just yelling out things like you have the right to remain silent, and they do not have the right to take you out of your vehicle, and just always having a phone out recording. They try to lie. They have been lying about Renee Good, about all sorts of unlawful.
And I know about the warrants too. Like they're lying about the warrants because
Oh,
you
yeah.
need a judge to sign it. In which I don't know if I'm right. I don't know too much about the law, but if I'm correct, it does take a while for those warrants to get signed. Unless you need an emergency warrant, like over the weekend, a judge might go into the office or go and and sign it. But if it's really true that they're getting these warrants signed, that means that's a lot of warrants you need, unless they're just copying it. So some of these warrants are fake. You know what I mean? And that leads to my last question, because I know you are a very busy person, Karen. What do you have a message for the students here? For the kids that are at home watching this, that have to stay home, other kids that are going to other schools, scared right now. And what do you have in news for the community? Because I know you know you don't live in Broadway, but what's the news? You know what I'm saying? What's the message you have to the students?
That's a hard one because I think it's such a big burden on everyone that one message isn't going to help. But I would say if there is a message, is to just lean on each other, ask for support. You can always contact me. You can contact the teachers. Everyone is here to support with groceries, rides, just mental support, like having someone there while you go through this. And like everyone is feeling, you're not alone. Like everyone is feeling the impact of this, even if they're not letting it show how much they are being impacted by it. And so just really lean into your community and your loved ones right now and do what you can to help as many people as you can.
And I love that, Karen. Well, thank you very much, Karen, for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We have a little special guest interview today with my guy Leo. He goes to Expiration. He's currently not here right now. We have a couple questions with him about what's going on in the community. And yeah, Leo, go ahead and explain, to the people who you is, and yeah.
My name's Leo. I'm part of student council. I'm currently doing schoolwork from home for about a month for reasons.
Sir. All right, Leo. First question to answer. How do you feel about what's all going on right now, especially with you working in student council and you having to stay home due to the ice situation? How are you feeling mentally and physically about what's going on?
I'm feeling mentally exhausted recently between the shooting that occurred and all the ice raids that have been happening all around us throughout Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's impacted my student council. I'm not in person, so I can't do as much, I would say, for the community, or our school community, I should say. But recently I've been feeling more burnt out because of this situation, I would feel like.
Okay. And with all that's going on, like with your parents and mother, father, I don't know if you have a sibling or cousins or friends around you. How have your family or people around you have been affected by this? That especially you. I know this has affected you too. So how are people around you in your close circle, like family, uncle, or cousin? How are they feeling about it? How are they affected by it?
I don't have a lot of Mexican family in the United States. They're mostly down in Mexico. But my father is hugely impacted by this. He can't work because of what's going on. I'm lucky to say that I'm not hugely affected by it because I'm staying inside and not going out. But yeah, it's affecting everyone, I feel like.
And what has this changed? Like, I know that you're not able to come to school, and you're not able to go to certain places and events. Like there's a lot of things that are certain people that are missing out. Like just the other day, I think we had like a MOK event for Good Trouble. I know surely about Good Trouble that works with the school. But we had an MOK event that they're planning for a walkout on Thursday. So with all that's going on, how this has affected your daily life with the ICE increased activity, because they're cracking down on going house to house, and then like especially if you're just walking around in the street, they're just snatching people up. So how has this really mainly affected you? I mean, affected your every daily life. I'm sorry, like daily life.
I like to go outside, I would say, a lot. I like to go outside and see the natural beauty of the world, but I can't. I'm staying inside for about a month, which is very much like quarantine, and currently I'm getting an Amber Alert for some reason. But it's affecting a lot, I would say. I can't hang out with friends, really. It's not worth the risk, I would say, mainly. But things are happening, I guess.
And with the whole, and that reminds me, like, it is for some people that have to stay inside. It is like quarantine, just like the old days where, like, you have to stay inside, because of the cold. So, I mean, which is reasonable. And my last question, because I know, you're online, you probably have other work to do. What is a message that you have for everyone in the school, and that's also for our listeners too? What's a message you have for them?
Stay safe. If you can, keep your documentation on you if you are a U.S. citizen. They don't really care if you aren't. And for our community and our school, stay strong. God knows we need it.
Yes, sir, Leo. Thank you. Thank you very much for taking your time out of the day for answering these questions. Yeah, I appreciate it. That was very good. Thank you.